So here's Totsy about to meet foster mums. Her mum was hit by a car. She did get a little bite from Kofi through the fence this morning, so we hope she's going to be okay, but it is just minor. So we're just getting the milk ready. Laura's just putting the milk in the feeding cage. And then we've got some females waiting by the fence. We just want to make sure we wait for the right one. Megan's just come in. She's gone straight over to Totsy. Totsy is quite nervous this morning. Totsy's got her bowl in the feeding cage because she tends to drink from a bowl and not a bottle. So she's been trained on a bowl, or she just feeds herself on a bowl because she came in when she was older. It's much easier for her. This is Red on the right. I'm sure you remember Red from other seasons. I think that's Django there on the left. Totsy seems all keen again, looking out into the troop now that Kofi's not around. There's Red.
Red was an orphan of 2019, arrived with a broken clavicle, so something must have happened to his mother that it ended up in breaking a bone. So he's a little juvenile now, and you can see how well he's doing in this enclosure.
So we've let Red in, young juvenile, male, but he is a juvenile, so we've let him in just to see how he does with Totsy because she really likes him through the fence. So Totsy's first interaction was with Red. Touched on the head. She's going down to see him. So she's getting a bit closer, which is good. Red's trying to get out, but he pulls on the door, and then as soon as you open it, he doesn't go out. So we'll just leave him to settle a little bit. Chicken's just come in and Totsy has actually approached her.
Chicken arrived in January of 2014, I think. She was in a motor vehicle accident. She had to have stitches in her mouth. She was actually brought up by Chico, who's unfortunately passed on. She's very nervous of people, not very humanized, and she was the foster mom to Dumbo. Shame it was a little bit of a setback with Totsy's little foot there, but unfortunately, when they're older, they don't always have the right mannerisms, and this sometimes tends for them to be put into their place. Fortunately, it's not too bad. It'll be hopping around for a little bit, but learning is the most important thing that comes from this. So here we have Totsy, the tiny little angel, feeding with Missy. So this is always a good thing when they're sharing food. At least you know they're going to get on. There's not going to be any fighting or anything like this. Missy had a baby in 2009 called Mischief. She's a great foster mum. She is quite easy to see because she's got these pink silhouettes around her eyes and underneath her eyes. That's one way of telling her apart. Of course, out of all things, getting in and out of the feeding cage is the most important, and important that any little monkey can find it. And of course, here we have little Totsy managing to get in and out, drinking out of a little bowl. So this is a great step. Unfortunately, she is a little bit older, so older little babies are not easily adopted. So we have a lot harder time trying to integrate them. It does take time to integrate them with the other monkeys.
Hi, Megan.
Megan arrived as an orphan in 2018, May of 2018. She was found clinging to the body of her dead mother at a mining establishment.
That basically sums up Brad. He's a bit of a stupid boy. He's a silly little boy.
Well, that's certainly one thing about monkeys. They can keep themselves entertained with the smallest of items. Of course, sometimes it's because they know we need the plate for something, and if he was in the enclosure, that's probably what his ultimate plan is, to take the plate away from us and drop it somewhere in the enclosure. Sometimes you look at them, they've always got slightly ulterior motives to what they're really doing in the end of the day. So I wouldn't be surprised if you find this pink plate later on somewhere in a tree in the main enclosure.
So Global and James are now fighting. All thanks to Eliza. And these females are now eyebrowing and redirecting at Totsy. Missy's eyebrowing them back, protecting her baby. And Red and Django are now inside. And Django is then also redirecting at Totsy, who's actually fighting back. She's eyebrowing him and chasing him. So she is standing up for herself. Eliza, stop it. There's Gimli on the back. Django's over there. Totsy's hidden by chicken wire. Martini's just outside. Usually the cause of eyebrowing is Martini.
Hi, my name is Guillaume and I'm a French osteopath, a volunteer from the Vervet Monkey Foundation in South Africa. And I'm here with Dustin, who is taking the video, and this little guy here, whose name is Flocky. So Flocky had a right femur fracture about 6 months ago, and he still had a lot of trouble to walk. So I started to treat him. But first I had to earn his trust. So, because monkeys are wild animals and they are not pets, and they don't deserve to be treated such as. So to earn his trust, I had to spend a lot of time with him. I gave him some food. I groomed him sometimes to finally be able to put my hands on him. So first, I started to decompress his vertebral column. To do that, come here, Flocky. I just put my left hand on his back. She's just a sensitive hand, and with my right hand, I take the base of his tail and I pull towards the back. Then I pull it on the left, the right, up and down. It really depends of the tensions that he could have on his column vertebral. The purpose of this technique is to relaxing the column vertebral and to liberate the spine in order to reinform his low back and his legs from the neurological messages. Then I mobilize up his right hand, so I put it on the void and I just mobilize on all the direction to liberate all the joint, so the ankle, the knee or the hip. It's the ligaments work and the joints work. Okay, calm down. Yeah, he doesn't want to. Yeah, just right here. And to finish with, I'm going to reinforce his muscle. So it's kind of active treatment. I just walk through him to make him run and just want to eat. Come on, guy. I walk through him to make him run in order to reinforce his legs to make him contract and stretch his muscle. And the purpose is to pump the blood to eliminate the toxin and to favorite the healing. And he also muscle all of these legs. But if he doesn't want to run, I also can do passively. So I block the left leg with my hand, and I raise him and let him fall to contract and stretch all the muscle. I do that because he has a real lack of stability with his right hand, and he can't handle to have his right body on his hand. So it's just a reinforcement. It's kind of a daily work because we could use a long time to muscle his legs.
Well, we thank Guillaume for his work that he did on Floki. It has helped quite a bit. It's not easy to get to this kind of stage that the monkey trusts you enough to actually do work on it. You have to be very, very patient, take your time, and I think it takes the right kind of person as well. So I think this has been great benefit. It's fantastic when we get professional volunteers that have got a special practice that they can do, and that we're able to carry this over to some of the animals in our care for their benefit. And we could see the difference after this workout and the continued workouts further along of the change in the movement of Floki, and how the leg became a lot better after that. So it has helped and made a bit of difference. We just wish he could have been here for a bit longer to give a couple of follow-up treatments, but you never know what's going to happen in the future.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for watching, and if you have many questions, don't hesitate to ask.
I think Floki enjoyed it so much he's trying to trick him. So, oh look, it's my arm now, it's my arm. No, it's my other leg. My other leg. And sort of hops away. And then you can see it like he folds himself in. Oh, look, my arm's gone. My arm's gone. Maybe you can do some treatment on that side. So I don't know if he's just having fun, but he's having a good time.
Normally just run, you know.
So we're going to do both sides of the blade, it just makes it easier. And then we're going to do the skin, so if you can flip her just on, yeah, so I can get to the bits. These are quite tricky bits. So if I do this one, this is a tricky bit here. So I'm going to just put some oil here. Like that. Okay. And try and get these red bits. Okay. So, let's put my hair out for this. Right, let's see what's a good bit. So we look for the reddening areas here. This is quite thin skin.
Okay.
So let's use. You want to get a good. Actually, if you look over there, because I'll tell you why. Because I can't get there. You want to get a good thing underneath, and you want to kind of scrape the skin. Thing is, it's so thin. Their skin is like always more difficult than dogs. Actually, you want to get a bald patch and scrape. So you just get the top layer of of skin, basically. And you normally just... What I'm going to do is literally wipe it on here. So you've got some hair in there as well. It's not, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just messy. Okay. That's fine. What we're trying to do is just get the... So if you stretch it out, really like with that hand, it's quite awkward area.
That?
Yes, exactly. And then kind of scrape this like that. So just like a grazing motion. Yeah, and you can go quite deep. So, and it may go red, and that's okay because we want a deep scrape. Yep, perfect. Okay, so we've got some hair in there, which is the follicles as well, which we want. And we'll do one more patch as well. Okay, so now bath time.
Yeah, let's get to move on with the
Yes.
bath before she wakes up.
Exactly. Because that is when they wake up, is with the bath. Okay, so just to explain what we're doing with Rocio today. Rocio is an adult ex-pet. It looks like she's been scratching quite intensively. So she's been treated with some injectable ectoparasite treatment, ivermectin. And now we're going to give her a bath to help soothe her skin, but also so that we can get rid of any bacteria and dead skin cells. We've done a skin scraping to check to see if there's any mites. If it comes back negative, it doesn't necessarily mean there's any mites, but at least we can have a look to see if there's any sarcoptes or demodex mites or lice, to see why it is that she's scratching. So we've got Dustin and Laura here giving her a nice bath with some F10 antibacterial shampoo. She is sedated. She's not an ex-pet that's well behaved and laying down in a bath. That doesn't happen. She is a wild animal still, which is why she's had the sedation. They are in overalls in case the condition is contagious. So we're trying to remove the dead skin cells as well, so we'll give her a good scrub over. So Rocio came to us as an adult ex-pet, like I said earlier, and it is, just a reminder, it is illegal to keep vervet monkeys as pets or any indigenous primates in South Africa. They don't make good pets, they can become aggressive, they certainly don't do well in the house, and they were never meant to be kept as pets. They're wild animals and must be treated as such. So she needs to just dry a little bit before we apply the oil, because she's all wet.
No.
So we're just going to give her a bit of a rub down. I found you have to shake it really hard, like just it goes everywhere, but coming out? Yeah, just about. Okay, so she's now had the neem oil applied to the areas of skin where she was scratching, and then she should be waking up very shortly and be returned to her cage. Okay, so of course after bathing a monkey we need to make sure her cage is nice and clean when she goes in. So we've got a nice clean blanket for her, and in she goes. And we'll keep her warm until she wakes up. So she's just starting to wake up, licking her lips and swallowing. Here's Rocio, she's actually trying to groom the phone. Being an ex-pet and everything, coming straight up. So here's Rocio, she had a bath yesterday, she woke up just great and fine. She is scratching again today, but it's going to take some time for her skin to clear up. So she is in the small cage just so that she can be sprayed and have injections when needed.
Here we've got Z looking after little Nino. And of course we didn't ask permission to film, so we got somebody jumping up and down, objecting to the photographer. Just in case you get a little bit worried, that's Big Boy Mango playing with Sachimo. And although it does look kind of rough, it's not as bad as it seems. They do throw each other around quite a lot, and Sachimo always comes back. I think that's why I picked on little Nino the way he does. But samango seem to play rough, but they don't really seem to injure each other. They're not as bitey as what Vervet seem to be. So it's more like, you can say, like a type of a judo, I suppose, throwing each other around, holding each other down, and that's what they seem to be doing. There you can see little Nino staying out of the way of these two, basically having a bit of fun and chucking each other around the enclosure. Of course, all these skills that the little ones are learning are very, very important for their later life, especially if they ever get released in a troop format, because it's these fighting skills that are going to help them survive or actually become the dominant male of a troop eventually. So it is very, very important, although it looks rough. They do have to learn to try and get out of situations and stay on top and be the toughest of the bunch. This is Z, of course. She spotted a black cat and probably warning the others to be careful with the black cat crossing their path. We all know it brings bad luck. So she's just gone to make sure where it's gone to. While we now have little Nino and Sachimo down at the bottom playing with each other. And of course, after all that tomfoolery, there's nothing like a big drink of some fresh milk just to keep you going. So revitalizing the soul, so you've got some more energy for later on to carry on playing. And while he gets a break from Sachimo before he goes back out again. Under the protection of Mommy Z, while he's grooming her actually. So back out into the main enclosure, Sachimo there with him on the side, and the two just looking around to see what's going on.
Nino likes to eat with his big brother Sachmo. They quite often eat outside together when the food piles arrive. We don't want to get too close to the fence because otherwise Nino tries to come to the carers until he gets used to his new family. He's only been using the feeding cage inside the introduction cage rather than the troop one, because the troop one Satchmo fits inside and drinks all the milk. He's had a good few days. He's quite often, if Mango's in the introduction cage, then he'll pace up and down outside. But now he's become more confident around Mango, and Mango's quite a big boy. There's Mango. See the size difference between him and Nino. So Nino's very cautious of him. And Nino's gradually staying out a bit more and eating some corn in the troop. He's often out with Z and Satchmo.
It's great to see these two getting on so nicely together once all the tomfoolery stopped and they basically calmed down, sharing some food and playing around in the enclosure, so not just always fighting. So it just goes to show how well they do get on with each other. They do seem to like each other quite a lot. So I think it's going to be a nice little relationship for them, build up both of their confidence, and of course it'll help them discover the enclosure a lot better with jumping through the trees and chasing each other, which is very good for them in the end of the day. Not only is it good exercise, but as I said earlier on, this helps them progress for later on in life. If ever we're lucky enough to find a decent place for these guys basically to go out and live.
Just spotted Sheldon down by the Jalamango. Sheldon got himself into a fight in mating season, you may remember, and he had to have one of his testicles removed because it was very severe. And he's just stolen one of their corn cobs.
I'm not sure what Nino is trying to do here. Seems like he thinks if he puts his bum in your face you won't see what he's doing, and he's trying to sneak the millie or some of the food away from Sheldon. But he's quite a character. Vervets and samangos, they do get on out in the wild. They don't normally really mix because they do compete a little bit for food sources. Although your samangos are more tree dwellers and will be eating berries and insects up in the higher branches of the trees, where vervets come down to the ground to forage. So we have had known cases of a samango joining a vervet troop, but it's not very, very common.
SD looks like he's been busy. What are you up to?
I'm busy putting spiky plants all around the village for security purposes.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So you started putting them all along here, all along the fence line as a added security measure for the village. Thank you.
So these are cycad plants that grow up very tough with very sharp thorns, so it's impenetrable once they're bigger and helps for security on the property.
Here's our wild rescue girl who was hit by a car. We hope to be able to release her in the next day or two. She seems to be doing okay. She came in, they said possibly with mild concussion, but she's been looking all right, so she's been with us and we've allowed her a few days so we can check her balance and everything. So as you can see, she climbs fine. We've put a curtain up for her to hide behind because she is nervous of us being wild. But she's been a little bit braver today, watching what's going on.
You don't often see monkeys filling their pouches as much as what Busi is doing here. Being a wild monkey and coming across such fantastic food, she's taking full opportunity of what's going on, so she'll fill her pouches so that if she has to run away, she's got reserves that she can basically eat later.
So as you can see, our new rescue girl is stuffing her face with as much food as possible.
This is now the following weekend, and Busi is showing all signs that she can be released. There's no injuries or anything that we have to worry about. Busi does mean my love or my sweetheart, which probably represents her quite well because she's a lovely little monkey. So we're just getting her ready basically to take her up the mountain and see if we can find her family again, and hopefully we can reunite her.
That was hit by a car, so she's all good to go. And Ellie is going to take her up this time, find her troop again, see if we can reunite them. Dave's recording. Alright, good luck. On camera.
Thank you.
Oh, shit, that camera.
Just in case.
I just swore on camera. Yep. See you later.
So we've been driving around with no luck, and I've decided to come into the Cliff Mountain Lodge because you can actually see this is on the big winding road up Cliff, and you can see the back of the road where the monkey was actually found. So we're just taking a chance here to see if we can find the troop on this side, and we're very lucky to see them. I don't know if you can see them in the bush there. So of course Busi was up in the parking where we were looking after her. Some of the other team were looking after her. So I've had to call them and ask them to hurry up and bring her down, because of course when these monkeys see anybody they just run away. So we've got a very short window to try and get her out and back with these guys as fast as we can. So we're going to phone up to SD and he's going to bring her down for us. Mkhuba's Cliff Mountain Lodge is built right in the mountains. Fantastic, beautiful place. Nice place just to get away or relax for a weekend. Very quiet and peaceful, and of course you can get lovely food and meals here as well. But of course for us it's quite a thing because it's quite a lot of stairs and a lot of way to travel down to the bottom where we've actually found the monkeys. So it's taken a little bit of time to get all the way down here. We all sit panicking because we're worried that the troops are going to run away. So as I said, we've got that short period of time, hopefully for her to join them. So here he comes, just getting a big photo of him quickly. The troops still down there in the background. And let's see if we can get this one out and see what she does. Well, there we go, she's out. I wasn't hoping she'd actually run the other way, but she turned around and ran up the corner. But she sits on the side there, and she can see her friends further down the bottom, and eventually she runs from that point down to meet them. Very, very difficult for us to follow them. We try and get the cage and everything out of the way, and then just try and see what's going on. We hopefully get a little bit of a video of her. Just now you can see the others there in the background, not so easily, but they're also wondering what's going on and have spotted her, so it is a good thing. She also doesn't seem bewildered, so that's why we know this is a troop that she's come from, because she seems to know the area, knows where she's running, which is very positive. There's another picture of her coming out of the little cage. It's so quick and very fast that she's going. You can see those two down there just on the other side there having a look and saying, who the heck was that? I'm sure we recognize her. So hopefully they're going to all start meeting up shortly. Well, there we go. Busi, my little love or my little sweetheart, has basically been released, and now the rest is up to her to join back up with her family, which happened shortly after this. Unfortunately, we couldn't follow it, but she joined up and met them again.
So I'm trying to get a video, of Turk.
Well, here we have little Turk. If those of you still remember her, she came in fairly large, and we had to quickly get her into the integration program. Melandra was actually the mum or foster mum that looked after her. She also had to have a little bit of her tail amputated, so she's very noticeable from that point of view. But you can see how well she's doing in the enclosure now, also become part of the family, and really, really looking good for her.
Just behind her is Isa Maria. There's Conjo also sticking his face in.
Conjo was confiscated as a pet in about 2017. He's a male and also doing very well.
Conjo, move! Shanae is now trying to grab my phone through. Hey!
Shanae arrived in 2010 with another monkey called Jessie. She was very, very humanized. She actually knows how to unlock doors, pins, and likes to steal things. So people have to watch out for their glasses. It's one of her favorite things to entice people close to the enclosure and then rip their glasses from their face. So you've got to be very, very careful of this. She also likes twirling things around her neck. I'm not too sure if she saw somebody putting on a necklace or something like that. But if there's string or something like that around, she actually wraps it around her neck. So it is a bit of a danger. We have to make sure there's no string or ropes or anything near her enclosure in case she hangs herself. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. It showed a little bit of the things that we do and we get up to at the foundation, especially with helping the monkeys where we can. Again, I'd also like to thank everybody out there for the continued support. This thing seems to be carrying on and dragging out longer and longer than we expected, and it certainly helps knowing you guys are out there watching, sharing, spreading the word, donating via PayPal, getting other people to become members, watching our other channels on Facebook, Instagram, joining Patreon. All of these little things are adding up and just making it that little bit possible for us to see through each month. So we're really grateful for all of you. Please keep on sharing. If you've got any questions, please don't be scared to ask. Just either email us or leave a little comment below in the comment section, and we'll try and answer as many questions as we can. Thanks again everyone for watching, and look out for the next week.